pain, suffering, hardship. We all experience these things, and they hurt us all, no matter where we come from, how we were raised, etc. This is obvious enough, but what's not so obvious is that different degrees of pain affect us on different levels. Let's consider for a moment two cases. One is the case of a man who grew up on the street and remained on the street his whole life. The other is the case of a woman who enjoyed comfort her whole life, but was then suddenly reduced to poverty, though not on the street. Which of these two do you think would feel more pain? Well, the answer is the woman, because she actually experienced loss, right? Whereas the man on the street didn't. The man was always on the street, so logic suggests that he'd be used to his lot, even though it's a tragic one. The woman, on the other hand, would have been used to her comfortable lifestyle, so when she became poor, naturally she'd be devastated by the apparent collapse of her whole world, even if objectively it's a better lot than the man's. And we go through things like that regularly, right? We all experience loss, even to the same drastic degree as that woman. Maybe we aren't in poverty necessarily, but we don't really have to be to experience a pain that's equivalent or greater to poverty. Because what is the nature of that pain exactly? It's simply the loss of something that we value dearly and thought that we couldn't do without. It doesn't have to be the loss of money. If your parent or child dies and you love that parent or child to death, you'll experience a definite form of emotional poverty. Because up until then, you were living in the comfort of their loving company. This is why we can't be too quick to say people are overreacting when they complain about their losses. Because we don't know their values, what they're used to. Their response could be quite valid for their particular situation, even if there are other people out there with objectively worse lots. Honestly, it really doesn't help at all to tell people they should be happy because at least they're not on the street, or at least because they have food, unlike a homeless person. That's an unfair argument. Because people shouldn't have to be satisfied by the least of anything. It's one thing to be grateful for the necessities of life, but to want only the bare necessities out of life is quite another matter. To expect people's standards to be that low is, I think, to dehumanize them a bit. It's unfair to the dignity of their species. Every human being should have the right to hope for and dream about a better life. A life where they can be happy and not just tolerant. I also think it's worth noting that the state of a homeless person is not normal and therefore should never be a point of reference for any person to gauge the worth of their pain. We're not particularly lucky for not being on the street. It's the people on the street who are tragically unlucky. Those people should not be in the situation they're in, deprived of even the basic needs of human life. Thus, to say that a normal person should be happy simply because he's not homeless is like saying, I don't know, that he should be happy because he hasn't been captured by pirates and forced to walk the plank. It's a faulty standard, right? And the thing is, the more we tell ourselves how grateful we should be for not being in a state like that, the more we normalize an unnormal lot. And that's a big problem. If we made a habit of that, we'd never try helping homeless people, because street life would seem so normal to us. But I digress a bit. My point here is mainly to say that we can't gauge the intensity of pain by one standard. Because pain is caused by loss of things we hold dear, and what we hold dear is so different from person to person. And now, I'm curious, what do you all think about this subject? Do you agree with my views, or do you have a different perspective? I would love it if you let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and I hope you all have a wonderful day. Hey folks, hope you enjoyed my video. If you like this content, please feel free to like and subscribe to the channel. It really helps. Thanks again guys. Take it easy, eh?